Hey guys, Casal here. You're about to watch Thorin talk and talk and talk. But it's kind of good, I swear.
So how did you come to be in Valorant? And not just in Valorant, mate, but if they don't know, obviously now people know Bleed because of cadiaN, CS, etc. But in Valorant, like, this was a team where, as far as I know, I've told they have like real money. It's not some like small team. Like, yeah, maybe people don't associate that region with a lot of FPS success. But this is like a big project, right?
Yes. How did it happen? I Pit was streaming and I was still following him on Twitch, like from his CS days, and I typed a little bit in his chat, blah blah blah, check on him, and he was playing CS at that time, and then he's saying, I'm in a professional Valorant team. I moved to Singapore. That's like how we started like talking a little bit, and one day he said, like, because he knew that I was out from Big, he asked me, you should come to Valorant. But Valorant at this time was already out for 2 years. I have not touched the game a single minute, not even when it came out, nothing, zero experience. And I thought, like, okay, am I a dick enough to just text and say, like, I want to coach Valorant, and that's like, it's like a professional team. It's like, who the fuck am I just because I know Counter-Strike? But I messaged the owner, and luckily the owner is also a little bit crazy, I would say. He was like, because for Singapore, like when I moved there, I saw their culture. There is nothing with gaming. They don't have, it doesn't really exist. The bubble for gaming there is like so small that you could not fucking care less. You could not care less. First of all, not many people live there, and the government is like not really supporting it at all. So for them, it's like all education. So he was like really new into this, but he was a big CS fan, and he knew me from CS, and he was kind of hyped that somebody who played in a major, maybe, I don't know, asked him to coach his team. I tell you, I talked with him today. He asked me how much salary I want. I told him. He asked me like some other small things. I wake up in the morning, my phone full with everything, messages. I check Twitter, 20 plus, Instagram, everything is going crazy, and I look, LEGIJA has signed with BLEED. What the fuck? I did not agree anything. I did not sign anything, but this guy was so fucking hyped. For some reason, he announces it instantly. So now I'm in this fucking shit. Doesn't matter. I anyways wanted to do it, so I said, okay, fuck it. I just signed the contract, and that's it. And going to this team, like, I had zero expectations. I did not know what is going to happen with me. I did not know how good are the players. But the first day I practiced with them, I knew they're worse even than me at the game, even though they played for 2 years and me, not a single minute. So it was a big relief for me because they were so bad, like communication, team play, understanding, balance. These things don't exist for them. Pit, right. Yes, of course, and Maxi was also good. But the other three guys are like, what am I coaching here? I really like it. I could have just picked any player in the world who is okay with aiming. I pick him up, and I have to make him. So it was good for me because I knew I have a lot to teach them. I will have impact, and as I teach them the basics, I will learn about the game. So that's how it was in the end.
Right, because there's so many ex-CSGO people in Valorant, and I even did a show with that girl Gio, who was one of the commentators, so we did like a show where we had a bunch of people on, etc. Obviously, you came on an episode, right? It meant that I got to talk actually a little bit and ask them, like, what do you think of Valorant, or what did this? And one thing a lot of people told me is, if you were like an in-game leader or a coach, actually Valorant's a really exciting game because of all like the comps and the fucking abilities, and all the maps are so different. But I also heard, similarly, it can be a nightmare though, because remember, there's no demos, so you have to like do that thing where you're like watching the replay, like frame by frame, looking at the map, and it sounds like really hard work, bro. You have to go ham on this game, right?
Man, like, I don't know, I don't understand why you don't do it, because it's like such a huge skill for a coach to show and to prove how good he is at his fucking work.
Yeah.
Because in Counter-Strike it was maybe 30-40% of your work. You have to anti-strat, you have to watch other teams, you have to study them and learn new things, how to counter things. It's like a huge skill as a coach. and it was a big skill of mine, and like I lost that part of it, so it was that was really hard. And yeah, I had to learn from VODs, watching on Twitch or on the radar the whole time, who is using when is utility, how are they using it. Sometimes you will not see things a grenade where it lands because the observer is not in that POV, so it was very hard to adapt to the game. But for me, it was good because I started liking playing the game. That's why I played it a lot, and that's how I learned myself, like the mechanics. Okay, the utility, what could be good, what's bad. And God also gave me, by the way, a lot of help because he used to
was
play.
coaching as well.
He was playing. He was playing
right,
actually. He was actually pretty good, and yeah, he gave me a lot of tips. But the game is so much easier than Counter-Strike, I believe. So much easier because, and Valorant people often don't get it, or my players never got it, because in Valorant, you can count the cooldown of the enemy.
Right.
He uses a stun, in 35 seconds the stun is up again. I can play this position, this position. The moment he has a stun up, now I have to reposition again. This is where I can play. In CS, you have to count all the grenades flying around the map. You have to pray that your teammate is calling the grenades, or you lose count. In Valorant, if somebody's stunning, you hear it all across the map. If somebody's using an ulti, it makes somebody's speech is coming. So you always know, and I think that's why I think Valorant is easier. Even though many people think like, there's so much more utility, it's not that much utility. It's also limited. In CS also, if you hold B-side Inferno, there's like fucking 7 grenades flying all around you, and you still have to somehow stop them and kill people, or you lose the round. So for me, I was used to these kind of things in a much harder way. That's why I think also Valorant is much easier to teach. The basics are easier. It doesn't go too deep. Maybe I didn't learn it yet. Maybe I don't know about the depth of the game, like I know in Counter-Strike, because I fucking lived this game. But I don't think the game is that hard.
One of the players on your team that I did want to ask about, because he was a CS player, was that Vietnamese player, crazyguy. Because if people remember, in CS, people used to know him, because if you ever look, he only played in Vietnam, but his stats used to be bonkers. He used to look like the fucking symbol of Vietnam or something. And I saw it in some of the early tournaments. He was pretty good like that in Bleed too. He was kind of like a fragger, right?
Yes, he was the Ingham leader. He became the Ingham leader of the team. Or actually, we took him for the Ingham leader role. I knew him a bit from Counter-Strike. He was also, by the way, the guy who played against Forsaken on LAN when he got boosted.
Oh, wow.
For cheating. They played each other. And yeah, I knew for him, he was important for me because, first of all, he had experience already. He played Counter-Strike on an okay level. And okay level is like a lot better than what I had with the other players. And he was mature. All my other players were like 17, one guy was 16, the other guy was 18, like super young kids who just like happened to be okay at the game and got the chance to play professional. And he was very important for me because he was already this far, so I can explain him how I want to approach the game, and he understood it. If I had it with the teams players that I had before, it would be I'm running against the wall, and I have to start like playing only executes. With him, I could like actually start playing the game, defaults. We spread around the map, how we take the map, control, all these things. And he was good enough to do that. And he was individually really good, and he grinded so hard. I have never seen that. He has played non-stop this game, non-stop. He never had a break, never, always streaming all day. And it was like, I knew directly this guy will be very important in the team. And he proved it also. Like, I think on all the lands that we played with him, he was the best player. In both the splits that we had for Ascension qualifying, he was the best player. And that all as an Ingham leader and being the oldest on the team. And not playing a role you're supposed to like have like some massive frags. But yeah, very good clutch player, good multi-killer, amazing guy. And also very, very good personality. Very good. He loves to learn. He always, and this is what I respect, for example, or what I'm most happy about the Asian culture. They're very respectful.
Right.
Very respectful. I say something, they do it. and there is no guy jumping around and trying to argue with. No, I say you do. Very simple, and it was always like that. And that what I think helped me the most in making this team good. They just believed me, and the good thing is also they were. It sounds stupid maybe, but like they were kind of fans of me. They used to watch my games. They used to cheer for me. They like my team, whatever. So it gives you all like a little bit more than like coaching at Tupsno or Go B, where you have to like be on a different level. So it was good, really good for me.
And then one of the players that got brought in the team afterwards was the Korean player Zest, who, if people remember, used to play for DRX, which was actually one of the best teams in like 2022 or whatever it was. This guy, I mean, again, it must be interesting to work with a Korean player. It's kind of an unusual experience. What was this guy like?
Very good player, I think, because he's playing with what's his name? What's his coach? The CS player, Solo.
Oh, sure.
I had many talks also with Solo before, and I kind of knew how that they will be like very, very strict, very kind of everything is absolutely perfectly planned. Everything has its rules or whatever. He came to the team, for example, and he asked, "Hey, Nico, am I allowed to play on the weekends other games?" Bro, you can play whenever you want other games. Just you should know yourself what should be your focus. So that kind of guy he was. And yeah, I think he was individually, I think he was a bit weaker than I thought, a little bit, but overall I think pretty smart guy. Again, you saw like the difference in the player that I had before. He understood like how to use utility properly, because he used to also play, by the way, CS for MVP PK, I think. And he also, you knew this guy had played on a higher level already before, and you noticed it. And it helps you like in big games when pressure hits, and that's what did with us. He always performed okayish, maybe not fragging wise, but he always like had good impact on the team, I think.
And then the obvious name I'm going to ask about, because if you notice, this is how you know this team had money. They were bringing in outside people trying to make the team better. The big signing, the gamble, was obviously Ye. And if people don't know, maybe people know him from CS. In CS, he was just an all right player. In Valorant, in 2022 in Optic, I actually thought he was just the best player, man. On that chamber, he was fucking bonkers. I remember watching some of his games. He was really strong. He was fragging everyone. And it just looked like that. Obviously, that agent was fucking sick for him. But the problem he has is he obviously had the next year where he had some up and down things and he didn't stay in the C9 team. And then when he came to your team, the problem is if someone's a CS person watching this part, there's actually like a big drama about this where basically like he, for some reason, everyone in the NA scene's always trying to like bring this guy down or see shit, or players are always leaking shit like, secretly, it's just they're always trying to make it seem like he's bad at the game, bro. What's your take on this situation? Because obviously he had some problems in the team, but to me, his skill level has to be there. You can't fluke what he did in Optic.
Hardest time of my career ever, by far. I never had to deal with these problems that I had in this team. Him and crazyguy had like big problems with each other.
Okay.
From day one. Like legit day one, I knew exactly already we will have big problems. But now you have signed this guy already. You have spent a lot of money to sign him. It's very big for the PR for the organization to sign a player like that. You have to stick with him. And I have to work with the conditions that I have. Even though I have to say Jake was always trying his best. He tried to solve the problem that he had with crazyguy. It was it didn't work out. Crazyguy was not really cooperative, I'd say, and I think that was a big problem. But when I speak about him in game, when I saw him in the first few weeks in practice, I said I will win VCT. I really said so, because like my analyst is doing like statistics for me, and like in Valorant it's like about ACS a lot, and he averaged like I think 290 ACS,
which is insane. That is really insane.
In like 150 scrims or something like this.
By the way, that's basically, people don't know, that's like in Valorant, that's like being simple or something, the sort of numbers that you put up there.
Yeah,
like MVP numbers.
Really good. Really good numbers. And look, for me as a coach, I can always only judge what I have in practice. We destroyed every team in practice. Every team. We were so good in practice. And for me, then at one point, I have to think, what can I else do better now to improve the team? We are playing so well in practice, and it doesn't look like we are being lucky or anything. We play good Valorant. People are hitting their fucking shots. I have a fucking very good team. Okay? Now then the official game start, and for Jake, I think for his biggest problem was his mental. The moment he gets on the stage, the pressure hits him so hard that he loses himself completely. So at the beginning, he was playing a duelist in our team, and I knew that my other duelist is better than he is, but he is amazing. Like he can play anchor very, very well, so he can play sentinel, he can play viper, and he can multi-frag a lot, which you want which is like the best for you in this case. And his duelist was too passive. He was afraid to go in sometimes because he played chamber. Chamber is you sit behind, you go in as the second, you kill 3 people with this OP util, and that's it. But for duelist, I needed somebody more aggressive, so I put him on viper, and amazing. He plays every perfect scrim, every perfect. I tell you, perfect. Killing wise, and also how he handles things. So for me, I think I did a good job in that case. Then we go into official game. The first day that we play against T1, we choked the first map. We were leading. We lose because of one round, a round that you cannot lose. Like it's impossible to lose it without hands. You can win it. We still lost. And then in the second map, third map, all of a sudden he says, "Guys, I can't see anymore. I can't see anymore." He says he barely sees anything on his screen. His crosshair is gone. And then he has a fucking shit game. He has a bad game. We lose the first game. He has a bad game in the second game because he got shit talked a lot from the community. Everybody's giving him bullshit and people have to understand, being a yay is a different caliber than being like a pro player. This guy has a 500,000 following on Twitter. He was a star in this game. The best player in the world. So the moment he starts performing bad, there is many eyes looking at him, and he knew that obviously. And like I tell you, pressure was his biggest nemesis. And also at the end of our time together, I told him as a friend. I took him to my room and I told him as a friend, I don't want you to play anymore. I want you to take 1 year break off because I think it's gonna go in a very bad way. And it looked already very bad. Very bad. Like after games, he comes to my room, he sits there on my bed for 3 hours and I'm just talking to him. What can I do, Nico? I'm so sad. I'm getting fucked. Everybody's bashing on me. How can I handle the situation? And the problem is I'm no professional. How do I handle the situation? I can only do what I experienced in my life, how to handle this now. So it was really hard, and for him, it's only his mentality and the pressure that he has that he cannot perform. Nothing else. He's the guy who goes on Reddit and reads all the comments about him. He even does control F, yay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I tell you, it was really bad. And it came to the point where I said, for the last 2 games, because I understood this guy is overthinking every fucking bullshit. Everything. And look, we lose games. We look like fucking idiots. I go into practice. We play fucking good again. We play good again. We destroy all the teams, all the top teams. And I'm fucking frustrated. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I don't know what to change anymore. And then you go again into again. I told him, for the next 3 games, you are not allowed, and if I see you, you will get in problems with me, trouble with me. You are not allowed to look anything from our opponent. Nothing. You are not allowed. You don't watch one VOD, because he always used to watch like VODs of opponents. How are they playing? And then in this game, look, I always say there's players you can do anti-stratting with, and there's players you cannot do it with.
Right.
And with him, you cannot, because the only thing he sees in the VODs, he's putting himself so much into focus on these things that he saw that he changes everything else that we learned.
Right.
Like he's going out of our box completely. And then the problem is also he tries to put it also on the team. He watches the game. Hey, look, they're playing this and this. We should do this and this. And all of a sudden, we play, and all our rounds are something completely else than we practiced. And that's why I didn't allow him anymore. After the last 3 games, you're not allowed to look anything. Shut up, play, don't even talk if you don't want to. Just play. But I felt bad for him. I felt really bad for him because you see how good this guy is, and you see what is killing him. And it was really bad, man. Really bad. I did not want him to play anymore. Just because I'm like afraid of him. Or for him. So it's very sad. Like, I think from his talent, holy fuck. His aiming, his movement, wow, really amazing. But it's not always about like how good are you at the game. There's many other factors that also can fuck with your performance.
To rewind a second, obviously I asked about that because it's the big player, etc. Before VCT, if people don't know, it's essentially like a mixture of a franchise system in Valorant, where what is, you get a partner team, your team wasn't, but if you play this Ascension tournament, if you win, you can get into the league. So two teams get a spot, or one team gets, I think it's two teams get a spot, and get to go into this like top league, and you can play there, which is where you play now. So if I go back and I look, the results actually the first 2 years is like you win in smaller tournaments, you do the Ascension thing, you sweep all that, you win that, get in, qualify. That must have been big for the org, right? That's kind of success, right? It's what they brought you in to do, is get into VCT.
In those games, at one point I think we were on like a 48 win streak or something.
Fucking hell, okay.
Obviously, it's not like all top teams, but it was good teams. It was really good teams, and it was also teams before franchising even, and there was like all these mixed teams from the franchise teams now. So I don't know if I could have done it better. We won everything that we played except for the Indian tournament. I think we lost to Heretics, like who were like just more experienced and better players a bit on the team with Mixwell and all these. So we lost to them in the semifinals. We beat PaperX on LAN. So I don't know what else.
In the world.
Yeah. What better could we have done? And you obviously go also with that mindset into the franchising. Now after we won Ascension, and like myself, I was so confident. Like when we did like a tier list with the team, I could not see anybody beating us except for maybe PaperX, and PaperX was even a maybe. That's how fucking confident I was. But the problem is the moment you have problems in your team, it's over. And also I have to say, like, for example, with the Ascension team that I played with, I coached these kids for more than a year, and everybody was just fucking. We got to the point that we wanted to be the whole time, what we have worked for. So our system was good. The players have improved a lot. Like everything was just going good for us. And then you change players. You have to now change things also. A big name is coming into the team. How is everybody gonna react to that? We kind of got fucked by the rules. One guy had to go to army. The other guy was too young to play in franchise. Because if I had that roster, I can confidently say I would be today a champion. 100%. 100%. We were too good. We were way too good.
One thing I think a lot of people won't know is, I mean, even in Valorant, it wasn't until basically like people like PaperX came along, and then obviously some of the other squads later, that people actually knew how good like the Asian, it's called Pacific now, these teams were, because obviously traditionally in CS, those teams are nothing, like they're irrelevant. They're not even, everyone knows MVP was all right, you know, maybe they had the odd result, but no one was ever close to winning tournaments. Whereas actually in Valorant, one of the crazy things is it's a bit like League. Every region has good teams. In fact, I actually think Valorant has the most parity, because you have pretty good teams. You have the Sentinels from NA, you have loads of good European teams, you have basically teams from everywhere. And so since in your region you have some pretty good teams that have been in some big tournaments, let me ask about some of them. So obviously, in theory, the number one team in the world players in your region, GenG. This is the best team, right?
I think Solo is a good coach. I think he's very hardworking. I also had like with him and what's his name? The DRX coach, Tammy, we had nice conversations together, and you understood like, okay, this guy already, he knows what he's doing, and I like his philosophy of how he approaches the team, and what I can tell about him, that he's really hardworking, and that's what I always try to like tell to my teammates, because after they won the last tournament, the big tournament, Masters, I think it was.
Yeah, Shanghai.
Yeah. Solo was on the stage and he gave an interview after the win, and he said, we only achieved this because we have sacrificed everything. Every time we wanted to play a different game, we said, no, we play Valorant. Every time we wanted to watch a TV show, no, we will watch a VOD. And everybody worked their fucking asses off, and everybody wanted to win. And of course, they have very good individual players. But I tell you, before the season started, we were laughing at GenG.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad we thought they were when we played against them in scrims. Bad, like laughing, legit laughing. And no other team we had that feeling with. And then we thought like, okay, hopefully we get GenG to play them first. And all of a sudden, because they had the players that they have individually, they're not that good. Munchkin is not amazing. LEGIJA is not amazing. But the system that they have and how they play around this texture guy, who's by the way, holy fuck good. Like by far the best player I think in the world right now. And how their system is just really good, and they are very, very hard team to beat. And I think they will stay actually on the top for a longer time. And in general, I have to give credits to the Asian teams. I have to.
Obviously, you referenced already, and you also have Paper X in the region. If people don't know, this team already has like caused upsets and had deep runs and all the big champions, VCT, etc. I always tell people if they're from CS, because people always want in CS to like give a try to Valorant, but the problem is because they're not going to understand the game. I always tell them like the problem is you won't understand like the utility meta and what count. But I always tell them the team you watch is just watch Paper X, because basically they just fucking rush all the time, and they're really crazy. Like I think that's actually the most fun team to watch. Look, I imagine it's probably a nightmare to play against. It looks fucking really hard. But what do you think of this team?
I was very surprised at first how good they were. The moment like I joined this region, they were fucking good, and the way how they played, like you say, they played so aggressive. But look, it kind of reminds me a bit of Fnatic. Fnatic was always like, we come into your face, we will not play this VP bullshit game. We are waiting, we are executing. We have duels. If we lose, then we lose because we lost our duels. But for them, I thought always that they are only like that. But after a while, I understood that it's not that just running. It's a lot of also idea behind of how aggressive or why they play that aggressive, how they do it, their team play, their movements, their timings. It's still coordinated. Many people think it's just like they're just running around, but I think the coach actually does a very good job. But also they have one guy. I think he's for me overall the best player in the world, Forsaken, because this guy plays every agent.
It's very. If people don't know, it's really rare in Valorant to play as many.
Nobody,
as this guy does, right?
Nobody. He's the only guy in the world. He plays Sentinel. He plays Duelist. He plays everything you can imagine. He plays. First of all, it's very hard to have that because meta is shifting in this game. Agents are getting buffed and nerfed. New maps are coming. You have to be versatile. And some players have only their fucking, trademark agent, which they're really good with, but the other are just okay, which is not good enough. And if you have a player like that, that's already very valuable. Then you have Jing, who was the best Raze in the world. By far. Nobody was even close as good as him. These two always dropping like 25 kills every game. And then in the end, they even got something on top of that. Plus, I think even this Davai guy, who was also like a CSGO player, I think he's almost the best player now on the team. He doesn't lose a clutch. So individually, this team is so stacked. But I think what's holding them back from winning tournaments, and I think they should have already won two big tournaments because they were that good and much better than other teams, just that they lack of experience. That's the only thing. You can tell how many rounds they lose. Not unfortunate, stupid because just they take these duels. If the coach only focused a little bit more on that and make sure that this doesn't get out of control, this team would have won 100% already two big tournaments. Easily.
By the way, are you actually in general surprised by the level of some of the players? I mean, even some of the players on some of the other teams, like Xayah player on T1, there's like there's players where, again, if people are used to the CS world, like the Asian players, there's some legit players out there and some teams that can actually mix it up, yeah.
Individually, yes. Mechanically. But understanding is like far away. Even if you take the best player in the world, or from Asia, he's still far away. There's still so much to improve. But mechanically, holy fuck. Holy fuck. And especially like Asians in general are known for these like fast agents, like or like flashy agents, like Jet for example. There's Jets you think how is that even possible? Like you truly think they're cheating. And they also have a very, very own way of thinking about the game. Like you notice it when they like create executes. It's completely different than any other team would like. Or I'm used to it from Counter-Strike. So it's like still a bit very old. It's very old how we used to do it, but it's more advanced than we did it back then.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of cool to see that, and I learned a lot also from other teams. I think they have good ideas, and they are like this. How can I say? Most of the teams, like Chinese teams, for example, they are like in the army. Everything is fucking perfectly structured. Everything is like a plan. This you do, then you do this, and after that you do that. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot structure in these teams, and I think it can be good, but can also be bad sometimes.
Right, obviously, though, this isn't a gig where it's like you're just sat at home. Like, you have to live over there in Asia. Like, this, it's a very intense job to do. Like, you're going out there in your life. It's an adventure. Is this something where, like, you want to do this for a long time? Could you be there for, like, 5 years and just be an Pacific region guy?
Yeah, about the region, I never had any issues with that. I've lived away from home for many times already, and I do this because I want to do it. I want to be successful with it, and if I don't think I could be successful, I wouldn't even do it really, unless I really had to do it for the money. But this project, I was absolutely into it because I thought, okay, it's a new game. Asia, I thought, is a weaker region. It's a good place for me to be. I can build up a name in Asia. It's the gaming industry is growing and growing there. There's big countries involved already in gaming, so I thought it was a good opportunity for me. And yeah, as you see, the teams are also. I even personally think that the Asian scene right now is the strongest out of all three. Overall, I personally believe, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's good. It's good for me, and I would stay forever there. I mean, I'm already 3 years in Bleed. Been 2 years in Singapore, 1 year in Korea, and I enjoyed every moment of it, really.
Right, obviously, right now you do this gig, it's all in, you live in there, etc. Just for CS fans, I have to ask the question: in the future, like, look, CS has lasted a long time, 24 years or something ridiculous, and it looks like, quite frankly, this is actually the interesting thing. Valorant and CS clearly coexist. I don't think they even have the same fan base. Like, it's different types of people play it, different type of people watch it, so they clearly can both coexist. One day down the line, would LEGIJA like to make a return to CS?
Yes, like I want to win a tournament in Valorant because I know I really know I can. The moment I win a Masters or a Champions, I would consider going back to CS. But it's also not that easy. You lost already your reputation if you had one.
True.
And it's hard to convince people that you still know about the game. I mean, I still follow Counter-Strike, obviously not as close as I used to before, but yeah, I also would have to learn a lot again in Counter-Strike. But for myself, I don't want to think about it. I would never say no, but I don't want to think about it because I'm now in Valorant. That's what I committed myself into, and I don't want to have like any doubts or anything. I like the game. I really think it has a lot of potential. Riot is making some weird decisions, I think, on how to approach it with all these like map changes, and the agents are changing so often. So it's very hard to get the stability in this game. Like not only for as a team, but also for the professional environment. Things are changing too much. Things are getting too wild. Teams are getting like, for one tournament, one team is the best team in the world. All of a sudden, in the next year, this team is fucking irrelevant for whatever reasons. Not even they didn't even change players. The meta has changed. The map pool is maybe not that good for them. For example, when we played Ascension, my map pool, I could not lose. I had on Pearl, there was a map, I had like 24 wins and 1 loss, and on Haven I had like 17 wins, 0 loss. I always every game I start with 1-0. good luck to you. So it's like also a big advantage for me. But then they take both maps away, and I'm fucking stuck with shit maps that I didn't like at all. So it's very hard. And the biggest problem with this game is you have only this fucking 3 months or 2 months to perform. You have these two big tournaments. You have to play your split 1 and split 2. Then you have master, and champions. And if you don't perform in split 1, your split 2 is fucked already, because both counts, split 1 counts into split 2. And if you have a rough period right now with your team, maybe things are, for whatever reason, doesn't matter what it is, for a small reason, your team is just not clicking right now. 2 weeks before, you were the best team in the world, it felt like. So that's what I hate. You don't have many opportunities to show. If you fuck it up, you fucked it up, and then it looks really bad on you. So I think it's a bit lucky who's winning tournaments or leagues in the end.
As you say, obviously they do change the map pool from time to time, right? Since obviously like that map pool's gone to some degree, give me some thoughts. What was your team so good at on Pearl? What was the secret, do you think?
Part of the map, like I instantly understood how to play it, because all the other teams, they focused a lot, for example, towards middle. And in my head, middle is absolutely useless as for the attacker, because everywhere he will go, he will still have to go like to 2 small chokes. So you cannot really outplay me. And you have a sentinel who will just play for info for me. So you always use your alarm bot and your turret. They hold like mid info for you, and you play heavy on the sides. We had 3 people on A, and I always controlled my operator. On this map, I only cared about my operator. He had to play fucking ballsy and aggressive on B long, and just shut them down if they come. And it was, you always have a window in this game to destroy teams, because it's easy to dodge utility. In Counter-Strike, you don't hear a flash coming. In this game, KO is flashing or throwing a knife, you hear it from, and then you know already when you have to dodge something. So the operator has a big part in the game, and I think the comp that I played, nobody in the world played it. I think it was a genius move to play Reyna on this map, and Reyna is not played anywhere. So I think that was like the biggest two things, how we approach on defense or the map. Even against on Ascension against Boom, it was the second map we played against them, and we lost 9-3. We lost the first map, and now we are 9-3 down, like 3-9, and we start in defense. And crazyguy said on TV, guys, I swear, chill. If we win pistol, they cannot win this map. They cannot. Then we destroyed them. They didn't win a single round, just because the AWPer was destroying. Yeah.
At the end of this interview, it was a long one, but we got through it all. Do you have a final message? Do you want to say hello or thank you to anyone?
Thank you to the people who are going to watch, but also big thank you to you. I didn't actually expect it. I'll be honest. Happy to do it. I always like talking to you, and I hope I could share some nice things for the people outside. And yeah,
I'll say too.
I feel a bit bad that I'm not like a
superstar guy.
I'm like a Robs or cadiaN, and people will be fucking excited.
Okay.
But I had my career. I had fun in my career, and maybe people will enjoy it. What can I say?
Right, I'll do 2 ways at the end for you, LEGIJA. Dankeschön and hvala vam.
Thank you. I can only do it in one way, I guess. Thank you, brother.
Everyone needs a support network, and mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who, in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Haju, Mac Pugnaccio Rakula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Go, Tosh, Toucan, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel? Do you want teasers, find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thorin interviews are? Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.